This is Skip Lockwood, and you're listening to Mets Musing. I was a pitcher, a relief pitcher, a closer with the New York Mets. I have a new book out called Inside Pitch, Mets Musing. Thank you very much.
This is Len and Jeff from Baseball and Barbecue.
And the one place to go for New York Mets news,
Past week game reviews,
upcoming series previews,
interviews,
analysis,
opinion, and what's going down on the farm. It's Mets Musings with Gary Mack. So keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.
Mets Musings with
Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings, episode number 331. Hope everybody had a safe, a happy, and healthy 4th of July. And hard to believe we're at the 4th of July already. All-Star game, a mere week and a half, 2 weeks away. That's usually considered the halfway point, though the teams have already hit 81 games and have gotten to that halfway point. But Mets are still struggling, folks. They're going back and forth. Win one, lose two, win one, lose two, win two, lose three. Just bumbling about. Prime example was this last series in Toronto. They snatched defeat from the hands of victory on Tuesday night when they had a 6-1 lead, 5-0 at one point, 5-1. Wheeler was cruising along, pitching a terrific game. They took him out. The bullpen imploded, and the next thing you know, they lost 8-6. Tough way to lose a game. Tough loss. No way to sugarcoat it. It was just horrible the way they blew that game. And Paul Wheeler, who pitched his heart out, pitched a terrific game, gets nothing for his effort. And then last night, they threw Corey Oswalt out there. Look, the kid pitched pretty good for 4 innings. I think he gave up 2 runs, not bad. Kept him in the game, looked pretty good. Took him out, put Lugo in. Lugo was his usual excellent ace out of the bullpen self. He ended up getting the win, but, Oswalt looked pretty darn good, and I think he could have won another inning, but I got a feeling Mickey don't like these young pitchers or something because he yanks them out of there real soon. So I don't know what the deal is there. Don't forget, he's never seen these pitchers before. He never had them in the organization because he's from outside the organization. He's from outside the league. So he really doesn't know anything probably about these guys. But Oswald looked pretty good. So some positive note to take, if you will. And we're looking for the positives now. I mean, we've had so many negatives and this whole season, and it's really been a bit of a wash. So you got to pick and choose what you can find that could be a positive and go with it. Now, if you want to look at it as positive, there's a couple of other things happening that I'm not saying the Mets are going to put together a run, but at least they're going to get some bodies back after the All-Star break, maybe slightly before. In the case of Noah Syndergaard, he will pitch a rehabilitation game. He'll be doing that in Brooklyn on this Sunday. So there should be a big crowd there, but he's going to have to pitch a couple to see where he's at, get his arm where he likes it and everything like that. So he'll be pitching Sunday, a rehab start. TJ Rivera is starting his rehab assignment with the St. Lucie Mets tonight. So maybe we get TJ Rivera back after the All-Star game, 2 weeks, it seems feasible enough. If he can get his stroke down, and that'll be a big boost, and kind of makes Jose Reyes not necessary anymore. Unless they decide to stick with Reyes and send Rivera to Las Vegas. But after his 290 last year, I think he deserves a chance to be with the big club. What else? Yoenis Cespedes is supposed to start some baseball activities. Not a rehab assignment, baseball activities. So we'll see how far away he is. And this guy's got to pick up the pace. I mean, he's getting a large salary. And I know we want him 100% healthy. You don't want him playing hurt. But, I mean, come on. He's turning into Moises Alou. Moises Alou is a great player. What a hitter. I mean, when he was with the Mets, he was tearing the cover off the ball, but he'd turn and wave to somebody and pull a muscle and be out for 3 months. Fragile. Wow. And Cespedes is turning out to be the same way. And I don't know what could be done with it, but somebody's got to lean on this guy a little. Somebody's got to push him. Maybe he's got to come back at 95% instead of 100%. It's not a perfect world, and it's not a perfect game. And sometimes you have to play with a little bit of pain. But, I guess we waited this long. He might as well be at 100% then. You would have thought he would have been in the beginning of the year, but I don't know. He worked out this winter, changed his workout routine, thought he was going to be better, and he has the same old thing. And if this is a chronic thing, we're going to have this every year. So he's going to be like an every other day ball player. And is it worth it? The money they paid for a guy to play 81 games a year? I don't think so. Personally, I'd be embarrassed. I'd go to management and say, "Look, void my contract because I'm not earning this money." But as we know, that's not going to happen. It's an impossible thought, even that a player would go and say, "Void my contract because I'm not earning the money." But it would be nice, right? Let's see other news. Wilmer Flores wants to stay with the Mets. Remember a couple years ago he almost got traded, and the famous Wilmer Cries night. He thought he was traded, then he wasn't. Found out he wasn't. Well, now his name's popping up again in trade rumors, and he wants to stay with the team that signed him as a 16-year-old. He told Mike Puma of the Post, "I don't want to go anywhere." So he's under team control through the end of this year. He extended his hitting streak to a career-high 11 games on Wednesday night with 2 hits. In that span, he's hitting .310 with 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and 10 RBI. So, look, he may be a piece they have to move to improve this team, but we have some bright news on that later on in this broadcast. But let's go to a voicemail. If you remember, I think it was last week, we had Dennis on, and I mistakenly said he was from New Jersey, and Dennis took me to task a little bit for that little faux pas.
Hey, Gary, this is Dennis from Albany, not Jersey, and from Staten Island originally. Anyway, I'm calling this week I got a question. Does Mickey think that baseball is a board game? Because he seemed to, he's got his little computer thing and says, well, Wheeler pitched 6 innings, and the third time around, we got to take him out. The guy's pitching a good game. What can't you see? The same thing yesterday when he had the other kid pitching. After 4 innings, he took him out. You're up 6-2. Let the guy go start the 5th inning, try to get himself a win. I mean, really, this is going to build the kid's confidence. I think Mickey thinks he's playing a board game somewhere, and that's how it does. I mean, look, I hated Billy Martin as a manager, as a person, and anyway. And same with Bobby Valentine. But when you were in a game, they were going to try to outsmart you. Mickey plays by the book too much. Those two would never do the contrary, the conventional thing. They would try to win the game. Not this guy. It's like, well, the paper says I should take him out after this inning. I don't know. I mean, that's the one problem. I think he is a puppet for the Wilpons and Sandy. But anyway, and like I said, I'm trying to like him, but he's making it worse each week. Anyway, talk to you. Thanks for listening, and I'll rant later on. Bye.
And thank you, Dennis, from Albany, New York, and originally from Staten Island. So there you go. Okay, I can't disagree with what you said, Dennis. But I think it's the analytics, and it's an illness that has taken over baseball. All of these managers now want to manage by the book and do all these crazy things because the statistics show. But as we've said many, many times, this is a game it's played by human beings. They're not robots. They might have statistical things that happen, but there's always an anomaly that can take place. And I don't think that takes into account when you look at all of the statistics. But it seems to be the world that we're living in right now in baseball, and that is analytics is ruling the day. And really, I think that's what's slowing up the game. I think it's just doing things screwy. There's no longer any managing by the gut. And here's the funny thing. I think it was the Houston Astros manager last year in the World Series, Game 7, right? They asked him they said you did something that was totally against the book. He left Charlie Morton in there, who was pitching well, and he says, I had a gut feeling. I know. I went against the book, but I went with my gut for once. And they won the World Championship. The year before, Theo Epstein said that he never thought that camaraderie and that would be better than the book. But he saw it in that World Series with the Cubbies, and they won. Baseball is cyclical. And I think as we go on, we're going to see that there will be teams that bring back the bunt, will bring back the stolen base, will bring back, and then everybody else, they'll win, and everybody else will start copying it. And they'll forget about launch angles and this, that, and the other thing, and they won't forget about the analytics because that's here to stay. But maybe it'll be toned down. And right now, this team is used, they have an analytic general manager who believes in it strongly in Sandy Alston. I know he stepped down, but we don't know what the other guys believe, but that's his thing, the analytics. And you have a manager who is wholeheartedly a believer in it. And is he a puppet for not so much the Wilpons, is he a puppet for Sandy? Well, it's possible. A lot of the stuff he does could be coming down from the general manager's office. But we have noticed that there's been some more bunting, at least, to try to build a run. The players are starting to go to the opposite field more. So maybe it's starting to turn around. Isn't it funny how when you are in a slump, they tell you to go up the middle or go to the opposite field to get your stroke back? Nothing about a launch angle. Nothing about velocity leaving the bat. No. Hit it back to where it came from. Go to the opposite field. Make contact. Maybe we'll see the light of day and go back to that someday soon in the game of baseball. But sometimes, you're right, Dennis. Mickey looks like he's playing a game with Stratomatic, only he doesn't have cards with numbers on it. He's got human beings. And human beings make mistakes. And they surprise you and do things you never expected. But it's tough for the analytics guys to see that because they're so hung up on that. Well, Davey Johnson called it garbage. And he was one of the first. He's the grandfather of all of this stuff. But he said there's too much garbage. And what happens when you feed the computer garbage in, you get garbage out. And that's what's happening now. There's too much statistics. We'll have to see if there's a change in that in the future. All right, let's take a break right now. Be back with some minor league news. We'll go down on the farm, and it's hot. So we'll do a short show tonight, but I'll be right back after this.
Looking for great Cardinals talk? Then check out Conversations with C70. My name's Daniel Shoftaw, and I talk with some of the great bloggers on the internet today about their teams, but it always goes back to the Cardinals. Find the latest episode on my website, www.cardinal70.com, or at baseballpodcast.net.
Did you know that Baseball PhD can be heard on baseballtalkradio.com?
Our shows rotate with other top baseball podcasts.
Now don't forget, that's baseballtalkradio.com.
With us, we'll help you get a PhD in life through baseball.
With baseballtalkradio.com, you'll hear the rest of the excellent universe of baseball podcasts.
516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show. And drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail, question, anything at all. Call that number, 516-619-6341. Or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings, and the Twitter handle is at MetsMusings1.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with Mets Musings and other great baseball podcasts.
With all the Mets news, it is the news from around the world and around the corner. Here's Gary Mack.
And thank you, and we are back. And let's take a little bit of time and go down on the farm. Okay, well, Gerard Kelenic, the number one draft pick of the Mets this year, is just tearing it up in his professional debut. He's got, let's see here now. Let me get the numbers. He went 2 for 4 with a walk, an RBI, and 2 stolen bases on Thursday for the Gulf Coast League Mets as they won 73 over the Gulf Coast League Nationals. The sweet swinging lefty is now hitting .472 with 2 doubles, 2 triples, 6 RBI, 8 runs scored, and 4 stolen bases. He has hit in all 9 games and multiple hits in 6 of them. Known for a strong arm in center field, he has 2 outfield assists already in 7 starts. Okay, he doesn't have a home run, and this is where they're probably going to ruin the kid. But he's 18. His stroke will come. Let him hit 400. What the heck? We want guys that can hit. Man, leave him alone. Forget the power for now. It'll come. All right, MLB Pipeline released their midseason farm system grades for the National League, with the New York Mets getting a B grade. Second among NL East teams. And that's good news because, we were getting hammered by all of these. Everybody said how bad the farm system was. Here's how the NL East shook out. The Atlanta Braves came in with a B+. The Mets had a B. The Nationals had a C+. The Phillies a C. And the Marlins a C-. MLB Pipeline. This is thanks to MetsMusings, by the way. MLB Pipeline backs up the Mets ranking due to positive strides and promotions from pitchers Justin Dunn, David Peterson, and Anthony Kay. Anthony Kay was promoted to St. Lucie and is continuing to pitch very effectively, dominating there. Justin Dunn was promoted to Binghamton, and he's been dominating in the AA circuit at Binghamton. David Peterson's been having a terrific year. He was promoted to St. Lucie as well. Andres Jimenez is playing well in St. Lucie, and Peter Alonso breaking out offensively in Binghamton in a big way, and now in Vegas. And Jeff McNeil also continue his hot hitting in Vegas now that they got him. And, of course, the signing of Kelenic, as we just mentioned, what he's doing, came highly ranked. And they signed a top international free agent, Ronnie Mauricio. He's playing in Gold Coast League. He's also crushing the ball. So, good news for the Mets minor league system. Maybe we're finally getting some names there. They're getting promoted. They're moving them through the system. And perhaps that's going to mean a lot to the future. Or they could be trade material. We'll have to see. Interesting trading deadline coming up with, guys they want to get rid of. Asdrubal Cabrera, possibly Flores. Will DeGrom or Syndergaard go? I wouldn't move him. Who else could go? Maybe Bruce, though he's still not back. Be nice to move Cespedes, but he's still hurt. So, going to be an interesting time to watch. Mets come home for 3 against Tampa Bay. And let's see, what do we got? 3 with the Phillies, and then Washington's in for 4 on the next homestand, and that takes us up to the All-Star break. So lots of action. Get out to the ballpark. Check it out. And look, we know it's been a rough year. We know it's been tough. We're trying to keep our head up, but it's not always easy. But anyway, have a great week. Stay cool. And until next time, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.